Welcome to Rink Rookie, a girl's guide to NHL. I'm your co-host, Ashley.
And I'm your other co-host, Arielle, and welcome to our podcast.
Oh yeah, episode 3 now. It's exciting.
I think we're on a good roll here.
I think we are too. We're going to get into the groove. I feel like when games actually start, it'll be like a smooth sailing, I think.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
So what have you been up to, Arielle?
Well, I was just out in California visiting some family, and I actually got gifted a giant a giant binder filled with hockey cards from the 90s, and it is giant. So shout out to Grandpa Robert.
Oh yeah. Are they trading cards like you buy in a pack at the grocery store?
Yeah, they're collector's cards. There's so many in here. I almost want to put pound this on the table so you can just hear how heavy it is.
Should weigh it.
I wonder if I can. It made my suitcase coming home I almost had to pay a fee.
Oh my god.
It's massive.
Me with Pokemon cards when I was 10.
Essentially, yeah. There's so many, but yeah, players from 1990 to 1996, I think, kind of scattered.
That's not even that long, but to have that many is what?
It was so funny. I didn't expect to get that many cards because I was just told, hey, I got a few cards for you. Would you like some? And I was like, yeah, sure. I would like to learn about some of these old hockey players. Comes with a gigantic binder. I was like, that is a lot more than a few, but all right, I will gladly take this. Thank you.
He was prepared.
I've also been watching a lot of Carla Goes. We just followed her, but she has You Had to Be There series on TikTok, and it's she gives all the rundown on all the old hockey drama lore.
Oh yeah. She's funny.
Yeah. Oh man, I've been catching up on that. I've just been binging her videos.
I think I started following her towards the end of the playoffs because she was talking about the Barbie movie and if the players would go with you or not. I just thought that was really niche and funny. And I was, yes, this deserves a follow.
You're this is my kind of content.
Exactly.
So yeah, so that's what I've been up to. What have you been up to?
Went to Disneyland last week. That was really fun. That's it. The life of being furloughed, unemployed while the strikes are happening has been, you would think, more exciting, but since I have no money, there's no excitement over here.
Oof, felt.
Pay your writers and your actors is all I have to say.
And your crew. Just pay them,
and your
please.
Yes, the company that I work for and furloughed from is doing a market to support the behind the scenes people in the industry. So if you're in LA and that strikes your fancy and you like to see behind the scenes props and things, they are doing a market. My roommate is selling her books because she's an author. It's going to be in Sunland. It's an independent studio services. October 7th, I think. Some more info if that interests anybody. But yeah, I have nothing to sell, but I will be going because lots of my friends are selling stuff and I think it's cool.
Gotta support.
So just to give you guys a overview of what we're going to be talking about this episode, we're going to cover a little bit of the rookie tournaments that are happening. I think they ended tonight. Some news in the hockey world. And then we're going to be going over all 32 NHL teams and give you a little history and which conference and just a little bit of something there so we can widen our knowledge.
Yeah, it's a lot of news. Hockey is so fast-paced. I feel it's fast-paced on ice, but then also behind the scenes. There's just so much happening.
There really is. When I was pulling stuff for this, I was just I don't know if this is news that everybody just knows. What's the big news? What's everyday news? I know I've seen some of this news on bigger outlets and not just the NHL.com. So I think it goes beyond the world of hockey because I think there's some Jimmy dramas going on.
Yeah, there's the Mike Babcock drama. I don't even want to admit.
To segue into that.
To segue, it took me so long to figure out what everyone was talking about because I was on the feeds and I realized everyone just knew what the heck was going on. And I'm I'm new here. So I was scrolling, trying to figure out, can someone give me context? What is happening? And then I finally found it. And lo and behold, a mess.
Yeah, okay. So I guess just to talk about what's happening, Mike Babcock resigned as the coach of the Columbus Blue Jackets on Sunday. Prior to being hired by Columbus, he had been out of the NHL since being fired by the Maple Leafs in 2019. The assistant coach, Pascal Vincent, was named as his replacement and signed a 2-year contract to the 2024-25 season. So what happened, Arielle?
Oh, man. So all of that happened, coaching change after Spittin' Chicklets podcast reported on Tuesday that Babcock, who had been hired on the 1st of July, asked players to share personal photos on their private mobile devices. There was some discrepancies and obviously some talks about how things were being miscommunicated, but the NHL Players Association investigated a week ago, and now he's put in his resignation. I guess he put his resignation because it would be a distraction going forward.
Yeah.
So hopefully no more drama. Hopefully no more drama for the Blue Jackets.
He's only there for like 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
Not years. Yikes.
Fun stuff.
Yeah, actual fun news. Those Boston Bruins jerseys for the 100th anniversary season, not anniversary, I guess. They look snazzy.
They're so sparkly. The reason that came to my attention was the Bruins were posting on their the social content. Shout out to their social media teams.
Right?
They're killing it.
They did a fashion show.
They did. I immediately clicked because I wanted to watch all the little fashion. I was like, this is great. They're doing a great job. Good job, guys.
I don't even follow them, but I only want a fancy jersey.
Right.
I think that's all we got for news that was like noteworthy.
Yeah.
And we're just going to go right into it because we are going to talk about some rookie tournaments that happened over this weekend and ended today.
Did you get to watch any rookie tournaments?
I think I watched not any full games, but I watched 2 games. It was, I watched Vegas and the Avalanche today. And I watched one the other day. I texted you about it. Gonna drive me nuts. What was it? I sent you a picture and everything. There's so much hockey content in our texts now, which is very cute.
Oh my god.
Lots of Quinn Hughes memes.
I know. I was gonna say, I was like, was it before or after the Quinn Hughes memes?
It was after. It was the Ducks versus the Vegas Knights. I think the Ducks might have won, at least winning when I was watching. And then it just ended. I think it ended shortly after I started watching it. So I think the Ducks did win. And then what game did you catch?
I watched 2 out of 3 Coyote games. Well, 1.5. I watched like half of that first one, but I watched them play against the LA Kings the other day, and they won. And there was almost a fight. Literally, as the game ended, there was almost another fight. It was kind of entertaining. Yeah, and then this morning I watched the Coyotes versus the San Jose Sharks, and they also won. There was a lot of back and forth going on there, but it was a good game.
Feels nice to watch hockey like live. I've been watching so many like old games on ESPN Plus, and like it's no fun when I can just look up who wins as opposed to like watching it live.
Have you noticed that since learning about the different player positions and like what they do, that you've been like trying to pay attention more?
Yes.
And it's actually really hard to follow. I'm like, oh my god. At one point I just said, I picked a player and said, okay, I'm just gonna watch you for like a minute.
And then he disappears from the ice, and then you've got to follow someone else because they're not out there for very long.
Well, shoot, even the broadcast that I was watching, Coyotes versus Sharks, the announcer, oh my god, I wish I remembered what his name was, but he was saying, he's like, I really want to give a shout out to the professional like NHL league, because it's so hard right now to like keep track, because he even was losing track of like who was on the ice and who was getting off. And then at one point I think Coyotes switched a goalie, and he didn't even realize until like they were in mid play because someone brought it up. He was like, oh my goodness.
I mean, that feels very relatable. Like someone whose job is to like report news and he can't even keep track just feels like he's a man of the people, you know?
Yeah. So like I guess they have like super fancy stuff that helps them keep track on like actual like season stuff. So I'm like, oh, that'd be nice. That's super helpful.
You sent me the video of the guy who replaces the sticks, right? Where he keeps his hand on whoever has the puck and then moves his hand. Like that's insane.
I know. His oh my god, that hand-eye coordination and knowing and having to like know your players. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Couldn't do me. Yeah, that's all the rookie tournament news we've really got. It's very hard. No one's reporting specifically on this. Each team is just kind of talking about themselves, which like relatable, but
yeah. Please
just talk about everybody. You'd think that NHL.com would do that, but no.
Do you know if any other like I was trying to think. I'm like, does football do like a prospects challenge or something? I'm like, do other sports do this?
I don't think so.
Because I noticed like I'm like hockey, like they do their prospects, they're like rookies. I'm like, wow, this is really cool.
I wonder if hockey does that just because they start so young. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like you're not gonna put, other than Connor Bedard is going to be like on the starting lineup or whatever, but I feel like most of the rookies kind of have to work their way up to something like that, so that's good for them in this regard. I'm not necessarily sure that's something that translates to the NFL or even baseball.
Yeah, because I know that I was saying like only some of the guys would probably go onto like the team, and then most would just go back to their training, which is pretty cool. They get a chance.
All right. Let's get into some hockey teams in history, there are 32 teams on the NHL. There are 2 conferences, the Eastern and the Western, and then there's 4 divisions. Arielle, why don't you start us out?
Oh my gosh. There's so many teams. And the reason I asked Ashley to do this is because I was literally finding out about teams just last week. There's so many. I feel like most I've heard about, but I just I'm like, oh.
Which one did you not know about?
Girl, I wish I could remember at this very moment. There was a specific one that I went, there's a team there? I don't even remember. Gotta look it up. Anyways.
I'm sure we'll come across it in our...
I know, I'm going to read it and go, oh wait, them. Okay, the Eastern Conference is the Atlantic Division. Oh gosh, what does that even mean?
Eastern Conference, Western Conference, and each conference has 2 divisions.
Oh, okay.
So there's the Eastern Conference and then the Western Conference. The Eastern Conference is of the Atlantic and the Metropolitan Division. And then the Western Conference has the Central Division and the Pacific Division.
Okay.
And each division has 8 teams.
Okay. All right, let's get to this Eastern Conference Atlantic Division. We got the Boston Bruins. They were formed in 1924 and served in the NHL as a member of the Atlantic Division as part of the Eastern Conference. All right, they're based in Boston, Massachusetts, and they play home games at TD Garden. We got the Buffalo Sabres. I'm saying that right? Yeah. They were established. They were established in 1970. They're based in Buffalo, New York, and are obviously part of the Eastern Conference. Terry
Pegula?
Is it Pegula or Pegula?
Either one.
All right. Terry Pegula has owned the team since 2011. Then we got the Detroit Red Wings. They're one of the most successful and popular clubs of the times. They were formed in 1926 as the Detroit Cougars, and then they became the Detroit Falcons, and they received their current name in 1932. Oh my God. All right, then we got the Florida Panthers, southernmost NHL team based in Sunrise, Florida since 1998. They've been hosting games at FLA Live Arena, and until that time, hockey players played at the Miami Arena. The club was founded in 1993, yay, birth year, and belonged to the Eastern Conference, representing the Atlantic Division. In 1996, they participated in the Stanley Cup Finals, but did not win. That sounds familiar. Rip. And then we got the Montreal Canadiens. That's who it was. They were founded in 1910. Montreal Canadiens are the most awarded NHL club with 24 Stanley Cups. They represent... Oh my gosh. The team is based in the Canadian city of Montreal in the Quebec province.
I think their nickname is the Habs. I don't know why. I would love to know why. I haven't looked it up yet, but I'm pretty sure their nickname is the Habs.
That would make
Maybe
sense.
I'll Google that while you keep talking.
Yeah. Then we got the Ottawa Senators, based in Ottawa, Canada. They host home games at the Canadian Tire Center, and they obviously play for the Atlantic Division Eastern Conference. They were founded in December 1990, but only officially started performing in 1992. Then we have the Tampa Bay Lightning. They're a hockey team in the USA. They're based in Tampa, Florida. They play at their home stadium at Amalie Arena. That club formed in 1992. There's 2 in Florida. Fun. This is why I get confused. All right. And then we have finally, also in the Atlantic Division in the Eastern Conference, Toronto Maple Leafs. They are known as one of the few league members who survived the reduction during the Great Depression. They were formed in 1917, and the Toronto Maple Leafs play home games at the Scotia Bank Arena.
Scotia Bank, like Nova Scotia, I think.
I'll go with
that.
I don't know. It's like pronunciation is not my strong suit. You will find out.
Montreal Canadiens are nicknamed the Habs. It doesn't say why on Wikipedia. And there's 3 teams in the state of New York. They got the Rangers, the Islanders, and the Buffalo Sabres.
Oh yeah, that's right. They're also another one that I kind of... Oh, that's a hockey team.
Yeah. All right. Let's do the Metropolitan Division. We've got the Carolina Hurricanes, or affectionately known as the Canes. They are based in Raleigh, North Carolina. After 1979, the club was accepted into the NHL, and it was still called the Hartford Whalers. After completing the 96-97 season, the franchise moved to its current location and changed its name. We've got the Blue Jackets, Columbus Blue Jackets, also I think affectionately known as the CBJ. They are a member of the Metropolitan Division, based in Columbus, Ohio, and they play their games at their Nationwide Arena Stadium. I feel like Arena Stadium doesn't make sense because they're not the same thing. We got the New Jersey Devils. Their franchise was formed in 1974 in Missouri and were originally known as the Kansas City Scouts. They were then transferred to Denver, where they became the Colorado Rockies, and the club received its current name in 1982 after moving to East Rutherford. Its home stadium is the Prudential Center.
So you're telling me I knew about that Colorado Rockies, and then that hasn't even been a team for how long? That's why I was just like, where are all these teams coming from? It's because they all had different names before.
That's why this is helpful, in my opinion.
So I'm learning so much.
We've got the New York Islanders, the second New York team. They were founded in 1972. Their home stadium is the UBS Arena. The team won the Stanley Cup 4 times and won the playoffs 19 times between 1980 and 1984. The New York Rangers, the third team for New York. The club was founded in 1926 and became the first to win the Stanley Cup. They were then awarded the cup 3 more times. The franchisee owns 4 cups, which were received in 1928, 1933, 1940, and 1994. She is the elder of the league and hosts games at MSG, also known as Madison Square Garden. I saw Harry Styles play there once.
I've only been outside MSG once.
It's a cool place. It just feels like, I don't know, old.
To go inside. To see a hockey game there. I just saw something that would, of places that you have to see a hockey game, and MSG was too. One was MSG.
Mm-hmm. And then I checked the comments, and a lot of people said, no.
Oh.
They're like, why? They're like, it's just a bunch of bros in puffy vests and khakis.
Never mind, I take it back.
Yeah. Next up, we've got the Philadelphia Flyers. They are the third highest hockey club in the NHL in terms of points earned. Founded in 1967 and has since won 2 Stanley Cups. They are owned by Comcast Spectacor. I don't know what that is. I think Comcast is a cable company, but I don't know what the other part is. Then we've got the Pittsburgh Penguins, affectionately known as the Pens, apparently. Haven't heard that one. They were founded in 1967 and they are 5-time Stanley Cup winners, and they play at the PPG Paints Arena. And then lastly,
who came up with that name? Sorry.
I know you're good.
Where are you guys playing? The PPG Paints Arena? That's a lot of P's.
Well, we're going to talk about
the Pittsburgh Penguins are playing at the PPG.
So they used to be called something else. I can't remember what it said, but they had a vote. They wanted to be a P name mascot to go with Pittsburgh.
That's cute.
I can't remember. Yeah, it was very cute. I didn't want to put all that info there, but it was fun reading it, which is probably the problem that I'll find is I'll get sucked into reading something and then I just forget everything else.
I get that.
And lastly, for the, Metropolitan Division, we have the Washington Capitals. They have existed since 1974, and they've been playing in the Capital One Arena since 1997. They've played in the Stanley Cup Finals twice and even won once, and they've won 3 President's Trophies. That's pretty cool.
I think that's pretty cool. Don't know what that is, but we will learn.
I'm sure we'll figure it out. At some point, it'll be talked about.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. All right, moving on to the Western Conference in the Central Division. We have the Arizona Coyotes, or they also get called the Yotes out here. Initially, it was a franchise in the WHA, but later had to join the NHL. They were known as the Winnipeg Jets before 1996 and then called the Phoenix Coyotes until 2014. One of the team's greatest achievements was winning the division title in the 2011-2012 season. Then we got the Chicago Blackhawks, professional hockey club founded in 1926, a member of the NHL where they represent the Western Conference. Until 1986, the team bore the name Blackhawks and then received their current name. Since 1995, they have been training at the United Center Stadium. Moving on, we got the Colorado Avalanche. That team was formed in 1972 and for the first time was called the Quebec Nordics. Yeah? Okay. In the 1994-1995 season, she was transferred to the Comsat Group, which relocated her to Denver, where the franchise is still located. Then we got the Dallas Stars. Dallas Stars, their club was created in 1967 as part of the expansion of the franchise. They own several high awards, 2 presidential trophies, 8 titles in the division, etc., etc. They got a lot of awards. Is what's happening there. Minnesota Wild, another team I didn't even know existed. Minnesota Wild, they're a professional grade hockey club based in St. Paul, Minnesota. They participate in the NHL. Their team conducts home competitions at the Xcel Energy Center Stadium. Although the franchise was founded in 1997, they started playing later, only in the 2000-2001 season.
They have a really cool logo though. It's like a bear and it's got some mountains and a sun in the back, and it's like got really good colors. It's like green and red and
I was like,
tan.
there's a green. Okay, yeah.
I
There's
like
this
their
pretty.
logo a lot.
They're the ones that I'm
Big
like,
fan.
There's a team, like professionally.
I don't know why I've heard of them before. Like before getting into the NHL, I don't know why. Maybe it's a big time rush thing because they played hockey and they're from Minnesota.
Oh, that's right.
Anyway.
Nashville Predators. The Nashville Predators are an NHL hockey team founded in 1998. They have since been playing in the Western Conference. Their name was chosen to honor the saber-toothed tigers that once lived in the region of modern-day Tennessee. That team plays their home games at the Bridgestone Arena, one of the loudest ice arenas in the NHL. They have made multiple playoff appearances. In 2017, they reached the Stanley Cup final, and in 2018, they scored the most points in the NHL regular season. Then we got the St. Louis Blues. They're a professional hockey team from St. Louis, Missouri. She's a member of the NHL, and they play in the Central Division, also part of the Western Conference. The year of its formation is in 1964, home stadium, Enterprise Center. And in 2019, the club was awarded the Stanley Cup. All right, now we have the Winnipeg Jets. This is the name of one of the National Hockey League teams. She made her debut in 1999, but she was known under a different name, the Atlanta Thrashers. The renaming took place in 2011 after the franchise moved from the United States to the Canadian city of Winnipeg. The club currently participates in the Central Division and hosts home games at the Canada Life Center. I'm not going to lie, that name change was a good idea.
The Atlanta Thrashers. Very like 80s.
Yeah.
Even though it was the 90s. I guess 90s makes sense.
Canadians were like, that's a terrible name.
We will not be taking that when we take the team.
No.
All right, I think we're on our last division, which is the Pacific Division, where I live, which is nice. So we've got the Anaheim Ducks. They were founded by the Walt Disney Company in 1993, named after the film The Mighty Ducks. In 2005, the franchise was taken over by Henry and Susan Sumilly, and now they are the Anaheim Ducks. I would have just kept the Mighty Ducks, but whatever.
That'd be cool. That's also news my sister told me. That's a Disney knowledge, so of course she knows it.
It is Disney knowledge. I get to see a Ducks game. I'm seeing them in December play the Kraken, the Calgary Flames. They were formerly known as the Atlanta Flames and moved to Calgary in 1980 and have since won 2 President's Trophies, 1 Stanley Cup, and 3 Conference Championships. Their home arena is the Scotiabank Saddledome. That's a really great name for like an arena. 10 out of 10. The Edmonton Oilers is part of the Western Conference as well. Their club was founded in 1971 and it appeared under the name Alberta Oilers. The franchise received its current name in 1973, and since 2016, they've been playing at the Rogers Place. Also, fun fact, their logo has never changed at all. And I like the colors. It's like a blue and an orange. Yeah, it's been the same the whole time. Since the 70s.
That's dope. That's commitment.
I know. The Los Angeles Kings are next. They were formed in 1967 and is one of the first 6 clubs to start playing as part of the expansion of the NHL. And their home stadium is the Staples Center. Also, now the Crypto.com Arena. Stupid. The San Jose Sharks are next, and they were debuted in the 91-92 season. They are the first NHL franchise based in the Bay Area since the Command Bay Area Seals moved there. They play at the SAP Center in San Jose. And
I have never heard anybody call it the SAP Center.
What is it called?
Well, I'm from there, so everyone just calls it the SAP.
SAP?
Yeah.
What's it stand for?
You know, I don't remember.
Ooh.
Nobody calls it the SAP Center. What the heck?
Really?
Yeah.
I can't believe you don't call it the SAP Center. It has earned the arena nickname the Shark Tank.
Yes.
That's cute. I really like the Sharks logo. Big fan.
So I have no idea why no one pronounces it the SAP Center. Everyone just calls it the SAP.
SAP. SAP is a software company. It's a
That would make
multinational software company based in
Oh, wow.
Germany. Definition and meaning. It stands for Systems and Applications.
System
Right.
applications and products. That fits the Bay Area.
SAP Center. That's true. Well, I like that little bit of trivia as someone who is from there. It's like, so we're on to the Seattle Kraken. They're the newest club to the NHL. They started in 2021. They play at the Climate Pledge Arena, and they're based in Seattle, Washington, obviously. Big fan. They made it to the playoffs, pretty far in the playoffs this year, I would say, for it only being their second year. I've heard their first season really sucked, but I wasn't paying attention, and that's on me. And then we've got the Vancouver Canucks. They're one of two of the oldest NHL teams to have never won the Stanley Cup. They made their debut in 1945 and moved to the NHL in 1970. The club hosts their home games at the Rogers Arena. And then our last team is the Vegas Golden Knights, our 2022-23 Stanley Cup winners. They joined the NHL in 2017, and they made the Stanley Cup playoffs 3 more times. Whoa. They play in Paradise, Nevada, in the T-Mobile Arena. And that's all, folks. That's all 32 NHL teams with a little bit of history about them that you may or may not have found interesting. I found it quite knowledgeable.
Found this information quite riveting, actually.
I did, actually.
So there was definitely 2 teams in there that I had no idea existed in NHL, but now I do.
See, we love when it works. The knowledge just flowing through into your brain. We've got some fun facts about some NHL teams if you'd like to also listen to those. If Arielle, you want to start us out.
So the Pittsburgh Penguins once scored 5 goals in 2 minutes and 7 seconds.
That's insane.
Wow.
I wonder who that was against.
I know. Right. And then we have the entire 2004-2005 hockey season was shut down due to a labor dispute between the players and the owners. That's the entire season.
Pay your players, question mark.
Oh my gosh. I remember baseball season, like they shut down like spring training.
Just not a whole season.
Just not a whole season. That's crazy.
That would be such a bummer to happen again.
I'm
guessing they've learned from their mistakes.
I hope. All right. Then we got, what other fun facts? Okay. The Montreal Canadiens have the most Stanley Cup titles. They have 24 Stanley Cup titles.
That is so many.
Montreal. So basically, that's the team you want to be.
I guess so. The Tampa Bay Lightning have won like 2 cups back to back within the last like 5 years. When I looked at the list, I was just like back to back. That's insane.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on the team.
Nobody likes Florida, but like, I mean, you kind of have to if they're winning Stanley Cups back to back. I don't know. Since 2007, the NHL season has started in Europe. Some places they have played include Sweden, the Czech Republic, and Finland. I know they are starting preseason. They're doing some games in Australia. I think the Kings are there right now.
So are the Coyotes.
Freaking cool. Are they going to play each other?
I think they are. I think they are, actually.
I mean, I feel like some obligation to like the Kings because I live here and they're the closest like thing to hockey. Like if I want to see a game, I should go there. But my goal is to only really go when I like the other team.
That happens a lot here in Arizona, from what I've heard. I don't know. I'm rooting for the little guy for now. I do have my other favorites. I'm kind of like leaning. I think my friend listened to the first episode and she goes, "You didn't mention the Dallas Stars," and I was just like, "I'm still learning." I don't know who I really like and who I don't yet.
The only thing I know about the Dallas Stars is that they beat the Kraken in the playoffs and Tyler Sagan's in it. And he got married to his stalker or something. That's my knowledge of the Stars.
Oh, man.
I think we should come back and do the same episode in a year and have our own little fun facts that we've learned throughout the year about each team.
I actually think that's a good idea. And I was actually thinking we should do like early predictions without like knowing anything about these teams. Just like a random guess, like who we think is going to win the Stanley Cup.
I'm participating in a fantasy league that actually just started like 4 minutes ago. So we'll see.
How's that going? You just picked honestly, all the players that you picked, I was like, yeah, I've heard those names.
Yeah. I
more than
feel
once.
decently confident, but there's also like 10 other people. Apparently you can steal players. I'm not quite sure how the fantasy situation works, but maybe I'll check in every episode. I'll let you guys know how it's going if you're interested.
I'm interested.
That's all that matters.
I must know how your fantasy play is going.
Thank you. The Montreal Canadiens beat the Senators 7-4 in the first NHL game. I don't know if that means like ever. I assume so, but I don't know. I'll have to check that. And then when the Montreal Arena burnt down in 1918, the league went a year with only 3 teams to play.
Oh, only 3.
1918. It's insane.
The Boston Bruins were the first American team in the NHL. They joined in 1924. Of course, Americans, we just had to shove our way in there. The Canadiens won 5 straight Stanley Cup titles between 1956 and 1960.
That's insane. Back to back to back to back to back. I thought that the Tampa Bay Lightning was impressive just back to back. No.
Right, the 2, and they're like,
that's like a hat trick with Stanley Cups, right?
Look at you.
I know. We'll talk about this later. This is next week's episode.
Wayne Gretzky played 1 year for a rival league, the WHA, before the league collapsed, and then he joined the Oilers. You lose Wayne Gretzky. Wayne Gretzky was the last player to have the 3-year waiting period waived to enter the Hockey Hall of Fame. Wow, they like put him in.
I don't know what that even means. What 3-year waiting period? Like, you have to be out of the game 3 years to be in the Hockey Hall of Fame?
I believe so, because I know, like, in other sports, like, you have to be out for a while.
Okay, that makes sense then.
I know in this, oh my god, this giant book, I have, like, 3 or 4 Wayne Gretzky cards in here, and they're so cool.
The Book of Knowledge.
This really is a book of knowledge.
I know he played for the Kings because there's jerseys for him. It's definitely a bunch on NHLshop.com. I don't have a code for you, but there's always a code on the website.
Okay, hang on. So I have a Wayne Gretzky card in here, and he is wearing his white Los Angeles Kings jersey. I'll show it to Ashley because it is kind of cool.
Ooh. Well, Ariel's going to post some pictures of her book on somewhere. The Tickety Talk, maybe.
Yeah, this was in, I wonder what year this was in. Oh my god. It has like all his stats. It has stats from like 85 to 86.
People just be knowing stats like crazy.
Which, by the way, people, I'm just, as much as I love a sport, I'm not going to be a stats girly. I won't remember. So don't ever walk up to me and be like, hey, what are these? I'm not going to tell you. I'm not that person.
So if you're wearing a Coyote shirt, I can't quiz your knowledge.
No. If I'm wearing any jersy, can't quiz my knowledge.
Sports team.
Even my Giants. Not even them.
Damn.
But it's not like I don't care.
See, if I care enough to wear the shirt, then I care. Well, I think that's all, folks. Some fun facts. All 32 teams of the NHL. Some rookie talk. News for the first time. I feel like we're really nailing it. That's all I'm saying.
What do we have coming up for the next episode?
Oh, yeah. So you can look forward to next episode next week are some hockey terminology breakdowns. Like, what is a hat trick? Because I learned that this weekend. And let me tell you, my disappointment was palpable. I really thought it was a trick, but no. The word is a trick because it's not a trick. I'm so upset. And it's not even just a hockey term. It's a sports term because they use it in soccer stuff too and other places.
That's probably why it sounded familiar, but wasn't clicking.
Yeah. That's on me for not liking the sport that use that word. But yeah, I think that's our plan for next week. And then the week after that, well, during the week that the terminology episode drops, preseason will have started. So that next episode 5, we're going to be watching preseason games, hopefully. Got to figure out how to watch those. That's a fun, challenging task because, finding like places to watch live sports is really a doozy. Ariel, where can the people find you around the internet?
All right. They can find me on Twitter at Arielle Garcia, ARIELLE Garcia, and then on the rest of the socials, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. It's Arielle Garcia. Yeah. ITSARIELLE.
You can find me anywhere on the internet at AENEWBY, I believe. And then you can follow us, the podcast, anywhere at Rink Rookie Pod. We've got YouTube, Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Arielle's been posting a lot on the TikTok, which is pretty freaking cool. Thank God, because I can't figure it out. And yeah, I think
I
that's
also made
it.
a blog post on the Tumblr.
Oh yeah,
breaking down the hockey positions we talked about last week.
just a little extra something for you if you didn't get enough of the hockey positions last week.
Mm-hmm.
Very good read, informational.
Until next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.